Alrighty, so if you watched the video today for lesson 29, I want to know what you saw and tell us what we're working on today.
Huh?
Tegan, what are we working on today?
Dividing with 4-digit numbers.
Say that one more time.
Dividing with 4-digit numbers.
Right, we're dividing 4-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. So it may seem like something brand new, but it's not really brand new because we're still going to use the same method of long division that we've used before. So who can remind us of our acronym that we use when we're thinking about long division? There's one with a monkey, there's one with some family members. There's different ones that we can remember. Nina, what's the acronym that we've been using?
Dad, mom.
You got it, dad, mom, and then what was next?
Dad, mom, sister, brother, or
Right, dad, mom, sister, brother. What was the other one? The one with the monkey? That's kind of silly. Elijah, what was that one?
Dangerous monkeys swipe bananas randomly.
Dangerous monkeys swipe bananas randomly. So who can remind me of what, like that's a good acronym to kind of remember the first letters, but what are we using them to stand for when we're doing our dividing stuff? Who remembers what the actual like math words are for our acronym? Nolan?
Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat.
Right. So the last one for the R is repeat, or whenever we're all finished, find our remainder. But we're going to be using those steps to do some division problems today. Right, so we're working on page 147 in our student notebook. I'm going to share my screen. Right, give me a thumbs up if you can see my paper. Good, okay, I see some thumbs up. All right, I'm on page 140.
What page is it?
147. It should say lesson 29 problem set on the top. Alrighty, so we're going to do this just like we've used long division before. So over here on the left, I'm going to write my steps on the side so I can remember. So who can remind me of what our steps are, like the letters that I need to write on the side? Riley, do you remember what our steps are that I need to write on the side over here? Riley, are you there?
Yeah.
So what are my actual steps I'm going to write on the side?
DMSB.
EMSB. I'm going to add my R for repeat. This is a good tool whenever you're doing any problems on your own. You can write the letters down on the side to help you remember the steps. All right, so Sophia, I want you to help me. I need to set up my bracket for my division. So what number is going to go on the inside of the bracket if I'm doing 1,672 divided by 4?
On the inside of the bracket is going to be 1,672.
Right. In fact, my dividend. And then what number is going to go on the outside of my bracket, Sophia?
On the outside of the bracket is going to be 4.
Since we're dividing by 4, 4 is our divisor. 147. All right, so I'm going to use this piece of paper to help me. So when we're doing our long division, remember we're focusing on one place value at a time. So I'm going to cover up the rest of my numbers so that you just see the first place value. So first, I have a 1 in the thousands place. So first, I would do 1 divided by 4. Can I do 1 divided by 4? I see some people shaking their head. Nolan, why can't we do 1 divided by 4?
And you'll get a decimal.
Right, we'll get a decimal. We can't have one thing and then break it up into 4 different groups. If we can't have one piece of candy and share it with 4 friends, you have to like cut the candy in really tiny pieces to get a decimal. So we can't do 1 divided by 4. We're just going to move our paper over and focus on 16. Can we do 16 divided by 4? Right, I see some people nodding their heads. Yeah, we can take a group of 4 away from 16. So let's change. Starting with 16 divided by 4. So I need to do my first step, which is dividing. So what question am I asking myself when I'm dividing?
4 times what number gets as close to 16 without going over?
Right, and so 4 times what will get me close to 16 without going over. And what is that, Chase?
4.
4. So when I write my 4, since we're focusing on 16 together,
But this keeps like sliding in and out.
right above my 6. Right, and then Chase, what's my next step after I divided?
Subtract.
When I divided,
Oh,
what's my
multiply.
what am I going to multiply?
4 times 4.
4 times 4. That equals
16.
Hold on, let me rename.
Turn your video on first.
4. I muted unless I called on you. All right, Chase, we divided, we multiplied. What's our next step?
Subtract.
And then we subtract, where are we left with?
0.
So we have a 0. Are we all finished with our problem, Chase?
No.
Wait, why not?
Or yes.
You sure? What's our next step over here for our B?
Bring down.
Down, right? Do we still have some numbers hiding under my paper that we need to bring down? Okay. So Chase says our next step is to bring down. So we're going to bring down just our number 7. So I can cover up my 2, and now we're just focusing on 7. Now we drop down. Then Elijah, I want you to help me with, now I need to do what? What's my R stand for? Elijah.
Sorry, I didn't hear you call my name.
Oh, sorry.
Next, you see how many times 4 goes into 7 without going over, and it goes in
Right.
once.
Right, so now I'm going to repeat and go back to the top of my list and we need to divide. We need to think 4, how many times can 4 go into 7? Or 4 times what will get me close to 7 without going over? So what do you think, Elijah?
1.
1. So now when I write my 1, I'm writing my 1 right above my 7 in my problem. I want to make sure we line things up as neatly as we can so we don't get confused. All right, so now we divide it again. Elijah, what's our next step?
4 times 1 equals 4.
We need to multiply. So 1 times 4 equals 4. Right below my 7. Now we multiplied. What's next?
Subtracting, and 7 minus 4 equals 3.
Now we subtract it again. And then Elijah, what do I need to do now?
You have to bring down.
Right. I'm just gonna pull my paper over and see we still have another number to bring down. So what number am I bringing down, Elijah?
2.
My 0 0 and add my 2. Let me drop down again.
And 4 times 8 equals 32.
Right, you're already getting started on my next step. So we're not finished because 32 is still bigger than our divisor, which is 4. So we need to divide. And Elijah was thinking 4 times what? We're getting close to 32. He knows his 4 facts. He knows that he can put an 8 up here. My 8 is going right above my 2. So we divide it again. Subtract.
Next we subtract. So you write the third.
Hold on, Elijah. Here, Jack.
What?
Don't you
Everything's glitching.
click listen?
Yeah, it's really laggy.
It's like hard to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is this better? Can everyone hear me better now?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Elijah, for helping me. I'm just going to move on to Jack for Jack to help me with the next couple steps. All righty. All right. So Jack. Here, Jack, you got to unmute yourself, bud. All righty. So we did our dividing part. We wrote our 8 up here. What's our next step that we're going to do?
Find the remainder.
Say that again.
Find the remainder.
When we did our dividing, and we put our 8 up here, what's next? What's the M stand for?
Multiply.
Multiply, right? So what are we multiplying?
418 times 4.
We're not going to multiply 418 because we're working on one place value at a time. So now we're focusing on just our one place value, our ones. So we just wrote our 8 up here, so we're going to multiply 8 times 4 since we're just focusing on our ones. So what's 8 times 4, Jack?
32.
See it, right? So we did our multiplying again. What's next, Jack?
And subtract.
Subtract. And what are we left with when we subtract?
0.
0. And check off my subtracting. Our B is for bring down. Is there anything left to bring down, Jack?
No.
No. So we can skip bringing down. Our R usually stands for repeat or find our remainder. So what's our remainder in this problem?
0.
0. So we don't have a remainder. So what's our final answer at the top?
118.
Right, 418. So we're using the same steps that we used when we were doing 2-digit division. We just have to repeat more times since we have more digits. And some of my friends today were talking about how it looks kind of like a staircase, especially if we do a problem that will have three times that we go through. It'll look kind of like a staircase. So you want to make sure whenever you're doing any problems that you make sure you have brought down all of the numbers. We've used up all of our numbers. How can we check to make sure that our division? How can we check to make sure that we got the right answer? What can we do? Orlando, what can we do to check to make sure we got the right answer here? I can write my answer up here.
Check your work.
Right, how can we check our work? What operation can we use to check our division problem, Orlando?
You can use addition.
Not addition, what's the opposite of division?
Wait, hold on. Subtraction.
Oh,
Multiply.
Yeah, multiply. We can multiply to check our work. So to check our work, we always want to start with our quotient and multiply by our divisor. I'm going to use my calculator to check. All right, so when I multiply in my calculator, I did 418 times 4, I got 1,672. So I can write that over here. Does that match with my divisor?
Yes.
Right, so that means we did our division correctly. That's a good way to check to make sure that you did your dividing properly. If we got a different number than our dividend in our answer for our multiplication, we would have to go back and see maybe where we went wrong or made a mistake. Right. So let's move on
Miss
to letter.
Delaney,
Yes, Zoe, do you have a question?
we forgot to cross off remainder. Or not remainder, repeat.
Oh, I didn't check it off in my letters, but we were doing it. We were checking off our remainder, or we were repeating, and then we looked at our remainder, which in this problem we didn't have a remainder since it was 0. All right, anyone else have any questions or something they're confused on? All right, then we're gonna move on to letter B. So I'm gonna move my paper down. We're gonna move to letter B. I'm gonna rewrite my steps on the side to help me. All right, so Tegan, I want you to help me set up my bracket for this problem.
1,578 goes inside the bracket.
Right, it goes inside of our bracket. And what do we divide?
And the 4 goes on the outside.
4 goes on the outside. We have 1,578 divided by 4. All right, Tegan. So when we're doing our long division, we're focusing on one place value at a time. So what number are we going to focus on first?
1,000.
Right, or just 1. But can we do 1 divided by 4, Tegan?
No, because it would be a decimal.
Right, it would be a decimal. So then what are we going to focus on instead?
The 5.
Right, we're going to add the 5 and we're going to focus on 15. We're just moving one place value over. All right, and then Tegan, so I'm thinking about 15 divided by 4. So what question are you asking yourself for 15 divided by 4?
How many times can 4 go into 15?
Right, how many times can 4 go into 15? Or 4 times what will get us close to 15? Can we go over 15?
No.
No, we can't go over 15. that wouldn't work. All right, so what are you thinking? 4 times what will get us close to 15, Tegan?
4 times 3.
So I'm going to write my 3. I'm going to put it right above my 5. So that was our dividing step, Tegan. Even though this step kind of seems like multiplication since we kind of think about it like multiplication, but still our division step. So Tegan, what do I need to do next?
Sorry, I've been having trouble with this thing when I watch the video, so I'm not sure.
It's okay. So first we divided, that was our D. What does our M stand for?
Multiplication.
Right, multiplication. So what are we going to multiply?
3 times 5.
Not 3 times 5. What are we dividing by?
4.
4. So we're going to do 3 times 4. So what is 3 times 4?
12.
So I'm going to write my 12 right below my 15. So now we multiply. So this is kind of showing up here. I have 15. So I'm going to make groups of 4. So I'm going to take 3 groups of 4 from 15. So then our multiplying is showing how much total is there in 3 groups of 4. So that's why we multiply. So then Tegan, we multiplied. What's the S stand for?
Subtract.
Subtract. So what are we going to subtract?
15 minus 12.
Because we're taking away 3 groups of 4 from 15. And then what do we have left?
3.
So now we subtracted. And then Tegan, do you remember what the B stands for?
Bring down the 7.
Wait, we're going to bring down our 7. Good job. I'm going to go back and cover up my 8 since we're just worrying about our 7. All right, Reese, I want you to help me with my next round. So now we need to go back and repeat.
Okay. So then you're gonna do 4 times what can get me close to 8. Well,
Not close to, what do I have down here?
4 times what can get us close to 37.
Right, 37, because we had 3 left over, and we brought down our 7, and now we have 37.
4 times 8 equals 32.
We could do 8. Do you think we could get closer, though, to 37?
4 times 9 equals 36.
Right, so that's a lot closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can use 9. So I'm going to write my 9 right above my 7. So that's my dividing.
And then you're going to put 36 below the 37.
Right, so we did our dividing step by writing our 9 on the top, and then now we need to multiply. So 3 says 9 times 4 is 36. Now we multiplied. What's
Yes.
next?
Subtract.
Right, now we subtract. And what are we left with when we subtract?
1.
1. We subtracted. And then what do we need to do next?
4 times what can get us close to 1. Well, we have to bring down at the 8 actually.
Right, so next we need to focus on our B, which is bring down. So we need to bring down our 8.
And then 4 times 4 equals 16, which is pretty close to 18.
Right, so now that we have 18, since we brought down our 8, Reese is saying she's thinking 4 times what will get close to 18, and she's thinking 4. So my 4 is going to go right above my 8 in my bracket. So that was our next dividing step. And then what would be next, Reese?
To do 4 times 4, which equals 16. So 18 minus 16 equals 2.
All right.
4
What you
times
said.
4 is 18.
4 times 4.
Why is it?
4 is 16.
Never mind. Yeah, I get it.
So we're doing 4 times 4 is 16. So we did our multiplying. I wrote it down here. And then Reese says our next step is to subtract. And when we subtract, we're left with 2. All right, so Zoe, is there anything to bring down?
No.
Nothing left to bring down.
So our
So,
remainder is 2?
We have to look. Our remainder down here is 2. So what's going to be my final answer that I can write up here?
394 R2.
Right, R2, because our remainder is 2. Write that up here. All right, Zoe, if I want to check my work to make sure that I did it right, what would I do?
You multiply 1,578 divided our
That's our dividend. That's the number we're going to try to get to make sure that we did
so
it right. Remember,
we divide our multiply, I mean 394 remainder 2 times
our remainder? What do we normally do with our remainder? We multiply first. You're right, we're going to multiply 394. What are we going to multiply it by?
we're going to multiply it by 4.
Right, by 4. I'm going to use my calculator. 394 times 4. I got 1,576. I'm going to write that down. Now, Zoe, what am I going to do with my remainder?
You're going to add that to the 6.
Right, I'm going to add it to my 1,576.
And then that would make our answer that is 1,578.
Right, and does that match our dividend, Zoe?
Yes.
Yes, so that means we did our division correctly. All right, does anyone have any questions about letter B or anything that you're confused on or want me to explain a little bit more? Like I said before, it's the same steps we were using before, we just have to go through them more times because we have more numbers to bring down. Are you sure? Any questions or concerns? If you want to use like breakout rooms or just do it on their own? Okay. All right. So I want you to try letter C on your own. So first, remember that you need to set up your bracket. Yes, you can turn your camera off to work, and then when you're done, you can turn it back on so that we know you're all done, and then we'll go over it together. So Noah, you should be working on letter C on page 147.
Tyler, do you know what problem you're supposed to be working on? Which one?
Lesson 39.
Unmute yourself. I couldn't hear you.
Lesson 39.
What page are you on?
I don't have the new book yet.
This is not the new book. This is the old book. So what's in front of you? Nothing? So, you know, when you come back to school, if you don't understand what we're doing now, you're going to have even more trouble whenever you're working. So you're in math class right now. If you come to school without your materials, you lose letters. We can't do that right now because you're at home. So my question is, what are you learning right now when you don't have any materials in front of you? I don't hear anything.
Nothing.
Exactly. So all you're doing right now is distracting everyone from being on task and learning, because we have to stop to ask you questions like this, babysitting questions. We've been in school for months. You know exactly what you need to have for every class. This isn't anything new. Where's your math book?
It's in my room.
I can't hear you.
It's in my room.
Go get it. Caliana, are you finished with letter C? Okay. Yeah, Jack.
Do you want us to type the answer to you?
Do you want them to type the answer in the chat?
No, we don't need to type in the chat. We're going to go over it together. So you'll check your answer whenever we go over it together. Alrighty, it looks like most of us are finished up. So if you're not done, you can still come back, like turn your camera back on, and we're gonna go over it together. So if you didn't finish, you'll finish up as you follow along.
I didn't finish yet.
It's okay, we're gonna go over it together. So as we go over it, you can kind of follow along and write down what you need. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Alrighty. So let's see. So Bella, how did you set up your bracket? What number did you put inside?
6,948.
Right. And then what number goes on the outside, Bella?
2.
2. Nice job. All right, who can remind me of my steps so that I can write them down on the side to help me remember? Gracie?
DMSBR.
Right. for divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat or find our remainder. So Gracie, we're focusing on one place value at a time. What are we focusing on first?
What
We want to first start with our first place value. So what number is in our first place value here?
6.
6, right? So I'm going to cover up the rest of my numbers over here. So we're just focusing on 6 divided by 2. So what are you thinking? What's your question you're asking to yourself when we're doing 6 divided by 2?
What how much to how much times we can go in like how much times we can multiply by 2 in until we get to 6.
Right, we think 2 times what will get me close to 6, but without going over. So Gracie, 2 times what is going to get us close to 6?
3.
3. So that was our dividing step. What's our next step, Gracie?
Multiply.
Right, multiply. What numbers are we going to multiply?
2 times 3.
What does that equal?
6.
6. I can write my 6 right below. I'm done my multiplying. I can check that off. What's next, Gracie?
You subtract.
Right, we're going to subtract. What are we going to subtract?
6 times 6. 6 minus.
Right, 6
minus 6.
And what do we get?
0.
0. So we got a 0 here. Are we all finished, Gracie, with our division problem?
No,
No, why not?
because we still have to bring down.
Right, we still have to bring down. We still have more numbers to bring down. So what are we going to bring down?
The 9.
Right, we're going to bring down just our 9. Since we're focusing on one place value at a time, I'm just going to bring down the next place value. So now we're focusing on our 9s. We brought down, and now we're ready to repeat. Thank you, Gracie. I'm going to ask someone else to help me with the next set of steps. Here, Peyton, help me out with my next step. I'm going to repeat. So what do I need to do first?
Divide.
Right, we're going to divide first. So what are we dividing now?
We're going to be dividing 4 and 2.
A 4? What's down here?
9.
9. So we're doing 9 divided by 2. So what's that question you're asking yourself when you're thinking 9 divided by 2?
How many times does 4 go in? How many times does 2 go into 9?
Wait, how many times does 2 go into 9? Or 2 times what will get us as close to 9? Can we go over, Peyton?
No.
No, we can't go over. So what are you thinking, Peyton? 2 times what will get us close to 9?
8. 2 times 4.
Right, 2 times 4. So I'm going to write my 4 right above my 9 that's in my dividend up here. That was our dividing step. So Peyton, what's our next step?
Multiply.
Multiply. So what numbers am I going to multiply?
4 times 2.
Right, just my 4. Since I'm all done working on my thousands place value, now I'm working on my hundreds. So I don't need to worry about multiplying this 3 anymore since we already multiplied it. So now we're just focusing on 4. So what is 4 times 2, Peyton?
8.
8. Now we multiplied. What's next?
Subtract.
Right, we're going to subtract. And what are we subtracting?
9 minus 8.
9 minus 8, and that equals
1.
Excellent. Now we subtracted. Are we all finished, Peyton, now?
No,
No. Why not?
because we still have 48.
All right, we still have 48. So what's going to be my next step, Peyton? Ooh,
Bring down.
bring down. So what number am I going to bring down now?
You're going to bring down the 4.
Right. I'm just bringing down my 4. Thank you, Peyton, for your help. All right, so Ilea, I want you to help me next. So now we have 14. We brought down, now we need to go back up and repeat. So what are we doing first, Ilea?
We need to divide. We need to know how many 2's go into 14.
Right, we need to think 2 times what will get us close to 14, but without going over. So what do you think, Ilea?
8.
What's 2 times 8?
19.
2 times 8?
8. 19.
No, 2 times 8, if we count by 2s. 2, 4.
Oh, 16.
Right, it's going to be 16. Can we do 16?
No.
No, because that goes over. So what are we going to use instead?
6.
What's 2 times 6? 2 times 6 would be
12.
12. Do you think we could get closer to 14 though?
7.
7. I'm going to write my 7 right above my 4. I can go back and cover my 8 since we're not worrying about that yet. All right, so that was our dividing step. What's next, Ilea?
We need to subtract 14 minus 14.
Right, well, we do need to subtract, but we skipped a step first. Writing our 7 up here was just our dividing step. What do we need to do before we subtract?
Multiply 7 times 4.
7 times 4?
7 times 2.
Right, 7 times 2. Just like before. Now we're working on our tens place. We're only worried about what's in our tens place. So we're doing 7 times 2. And what did we say 7 times 2 is?
14.
14. Right, now what can I do, Ilea?
Then we have to subtract 14 and 14.
And then what are we left with?
0.
0. So now we subtracted. Are we finished with our problem, Ilea?
No.
No, we're still not finished. Why not?
Because we still have to bring down the 8.
Right, we still have to bring down our 8. So when we're doing these problems, we need to make sure that we've used up all of our numbers before we're all finished. All right, Sarah, I want you to help me with my last set. So now I have 8 down here. I need to go back up and repeat. So what am I doing first?
You're gonna say 2 times what brings us close to 8.
Right. And what are we thinking for that, Sarah?
2 times 4 equals 8.
Right, so I can write my 4 up here above my 8. So that was my dividing step. What's our next step?
Multiply.
Multiplying. So what are we going to multiply?
2 times 4.
Right. So now we're working on our ones place. We're focused on just our 1. So 4 times 2. And what is 4 times 2?
8.
8. Right, 8. And what are we doing next, Sarah?
You're gonna subtract.
Right. When we subtract,
8 minus 8 equals 0.
Right. So we subtracted. what's our next step? What does the D stand for again?
Bring down.
Bring down. Is there anything left to bring down?
No.
No, we don't have anything left, so now we can skip to our letter R, which when we're not using it for repeat, what do we use it for?
Remainder.
Remainder. Do we have a remainder for this problem?
No.
No, because our remainder is 0. We don't write a remainder of 0 in our answer. So what's our final answer, Sarah?
3,474.
Right, 3,474. All right, so Sarah, now I want to check to make sure that we did it right. So how can I check my answer?
2 times 3,700. 2 times 3,474.
Right, I'm going to start from my answer. So I'm going to start with 3,474. I'm going to multiply it by my divisor. And when I do that, I should get my dividend. I use my calculator. I get 6,948. Does that match our dividend?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that means we did it right. Right, give me a thumbs up or kind of raise your hand if you got this answer whenever you did it on your own. Right, this is so confusing. Okay. Okay, good. For anyone that didn't get it right or maybe made a mistake, do you have a question or something that you were confused on? Or did you figure out where you went wrong or made your mistake? Does anyone have any questions or anything they're confused on that we can talk about it? All right, so now I want you to flip to the next page.
Tyler, turn your camera on, please.
We're going to work on letter D. So I want you to work on this one on your own again. And then this time, I want you to type your answer in the chat.
Gracie, did you have a question? You can leave your cameras on now because you're going to type it into the chat and we'll see. If you get it correct, you can go ahead and we will tell you you're correct and you can go ahead and get on extra math. If you don't get it correct, we're going to stay on until we get it correct.
Elijah, do you have a question?
Did you say this is D?
Yes, letter D, 8,949 divided by 4.
Elijah, you're good. Jack, let's try that again. Seth, let's try yours again. Or just check where your comma is. That might be why it's wrong. And Jack, let's try yours again. I'm going to mark them off on the attendance sheet when they get it right. Jack, you're good. Orlando, let's think about this, honey. You have an answer of 35,000. 35,000. we're only starting with the number 8,000. So when we're dividing, we can't end up with a bigger number than what we started with. Try again, Seth. There you go. Now you're good. Jackie, you're good. You can go ahead and get on extra math. If you get stuck and have a question, just unmute yourself and we'll help you.
I'm kind of stuck.
Okay, walk us through where you are. What did you do first?
So I did how many like 4s go into 8, and that's 2. So I put it above the 8, and 4 times 2 is 8. So then I subtracted, which got 0. Then I brought down the 9, and then how many 4s go into 9, which is 2. So then I put 2 above the 9 again, and then 9 subtracted by 2 is 7, and then I brought down the 4. And
okay, hold on 1 second. Where did you subtract the 2 from? So you did 9 and then 4 went into 9. How many times?
2.
Okay, and then you subtracted, what's 2 times 4?
8.
So did you subtract 8? Nolan, try again. Cooper, you're good?
Say anything?
Reese, you're good?
I need help with it.
Well, just follow along with us now, Zoe. Ilea, so what's 9 minus 8? Bella, you're good?
1, and then I brought down the 4, which is 14. Now I'm kind of stuck.
So 4 times what gets you as close to 14 as you can without going over? Nolan, you're correct?
3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck on the first one. Like what is closer to 4 that you
It's
want?
subject.
So Zoe, you have to think 4 times what gets you close to 8? Chase, you're correct.
2.
Peyton, you're correct.
It's subject. Did you say I'm correct or no?
I didn't get an answer for you, Noah. Hold on, let me see. I'm scrolling up. Noah,
So-
you need to try again.
Okay.
Would it be 4 or not 4? 8 minus 2.
Gracie, you're good. No. Where do you get a 2? Did you multiply yet?
Yeah, I multiplied 4 times 2 equals 8.
Mm-hmm. Riley?
So I'm on the last step, and I carried down the 9, and I got 129.
Multiply 14 minus 12 again. You shouldn't have a 1 there. Hunter, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused.
Okay. Let's weed out some of the people who are already finished first. And then we can work with you. Sophia, you're correct? Is there anyone in here now that's waiting to be checked? Okay, Leah, what did you get for your answer?
2,237, remainder 1.
Tegan, that is incorrect. Sarah, are you still working?
I'm just typing my answer into the chat.
Just read it off to me.
2,235, remainder 9.
Okay. Well, you can't have a remainder of 9 when your divisor is only 4.
I'm getting confused with the steps.
Okay, so now, Ms. Gibby, you want to go and share your screen and you can go over. Soren, what did you get for your answer? Unmute yourself. Soren, unmute yourself. Do I need to call home and have someone come up and help you? Do you need help?
Oh, my.
What did you get for your answer?
Okay, so 4 divided by.
I don't need you to walk me through it. I just want to know what your answer is.
Oh.
For letter D.
Okay, so I got 1, well, actually 2, well, actually,
Tyler, stop it.
I don't know how I did it.
Do you have an answer for letter D?
Maybe I was in the middle of doing it.
I want you to hold up page 147 for me. Tegan, remember you can't have a remainder bigger than your divisor. Soren, hold up page 147.
I was doing the mental math in my head.
Hold up page 147. Because if you don't have anything written down, I'm going to message your parents and tell them you're not doing anything during the Zoom. Hold up the page right now, please. Soren, you have 3 seconds. And then I'm going to remove you from the group. 2 seconds. 1. Are you going to hold your book up? Okay, so you've done. So you haven't done one thing during this class.
I was doing the mental math in my head.
This isn't mental math. You don't do 8,949 divided by 4 mentally. So you need to do all of these over and then send me a picture of it because you did not do anything during class. And then whenever the homework is hard, that's why it's hard, because you haven't followed along at all.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Gabine's gonna go over this problem with those who are staying for help, and then you're gonna have to go back and do A, B, and C. I'll message your parents right now so they know. Go ahead, I'll mute myself.
All right. We're doing 8,949 divided by 4. I'm going to write it over here so I have more space. All right, so your bracket should look like this. Our dividend should be inside and our divisor is outside. All right, so I'll write my steps over here so I remember. We have dangerous, monkeys, swipe, bananas, randomly. So these are my steps that I need to follow. All right, so Zoe, you were kind of we were kind of working through what you needed to do. What are we doing first, Zoe?
4 times 2.
Right, so we're just focusing on our first place value, which is 8. So you're right, we're thinking 4 times what will get us close to 8, and you said 4 times
2.
Right, 2. We're gonna write our 2 above our 8. So that was our dividing step, Zoe. What's our next step?
Multiplication.
Right, so what are we multiplying?
We are multiplying 4 times 2.
2 times 4. What's 2 times 4?
2 times 4 equals 8.
Right. That was our multiplying step. What's our next step, Zoe?
Our next step is subtraction.
Right, subtraction. So what are we subtracting?
8 minus 8, which equals 0.
That was our subtraction.
Tyler, I'll also be reaching out to your parents so they know that you need to send pages of these since you haven't been. I've been watching you while Miss Gabine's teaching, and I haven't seen you looking at the screen, engaging, and writing anything down. So you're going to have to do these on your own. Do you understand?
All right, so let's do
And then
Zoe.
bring down, you do, the next step is to bring down the 9.
Right, we need to bring down, and we're just going to bring down our 9. That was our bring down step. What's the R, Zoe?
The R is repeat.
Right, we need to repeat, so we need to go back to the top. All right, Sarah. So we're repeating, so now what are we dividing? What are we dividing now, Sarah? That we brought down our 9.
I don't know.
What'd you say?
Noah, where are you? Why can't we see you?
I don't know.
So we brought down our 9, so we have 9 left. So now we need to divide 9 divided by 4. So what are you asking yourself when you're thinking 9 divided by 4, Sarah?
What can you multiply 4 by to get close to 9 without going over?
Right. We have to think 4 times what will get us close to 9, but without going over. So what do we think? 4 times what?
I have to go to the bathroom.
4 times 2.
So I can write my 2 up here. That was our dividing step, Sarah. What's our next step?
Multiply.
Multiply. So what are we going to multiply?
4 times 2.
Right, 4 times 2. We're just focusing on our 100 place values. We're doing 2 times 4, and what is that?
8.
Write my 8 down here. And then what's next?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract. And what are we left with when we subtract?
9 minus 8 equals 1.
Right. So we subtracted. Then what do we need to do next, Sarah?
Bring down
And what
the
are we going to bring down?
bring down the 4.
The 4, right? It's working on one place value at a time. We're just bringing down our 4. Brought down. All right, thanks, Sarah. All right, Tegan. So we brought down, are we repeating or are we finding our remainder? Tegan, are we repeating or are we finding our remainder? I can't hear you, Tegan. Try muting and unmuting. Right here, I'm gonna click the button to ask you to unmute. Which should probably work. Okay, what about now? Still can't hear you, and I don't know why. It's so weird. So it was working before. All right, Tegan, that's okay. All right, so Nina. Am I repeating or am I finding a remainder?
We're repeating.
Right, we're repeating. Can you go back up to the top? So what's going to be our first step?
To find out what times 4 is closest to 14.
Right. So what is that, Nina?
3.
3. There, my 3 right above my 4. That was my dividing step. What's next, Nina?
So 4 times 3 equals 12, and so we
Right.
bring down.
Multiply.
So we subtract 14 minus 12.
Right. So we multiply 3 times 4 to get 12, and then next is subtract. When we subtract, what are we left with? You said.
12. Oh wait, did you say Nina?
14. Yeah, Nina. 14 minus 12. What do we get?
12. I mean no. 2.
2. There we go. Right, so I already checked off subtract. So is 2 our remainder, Nina?
Yes. Yes.
Are we sure?
No. Oh wait, we bring down the 9.
Right. There's still another number to bring down. So you need to check if you put a paper over your problem to help you only focus on one at a time. Make sure you lift your paper and look to make sure there's no other numbers to bring down. Right, so now we have 29, so now we can repeat again. So Orlando. So repeating again, what are we doing first?
We're trying to see what times what gets close to 9.
So 9, what's our new number down here?
Oh wait, on 29.
29, right? So we need to think 4 times what will get us close to 29. What do you think, Orlando?
4 times 7 equals 28.
Put my 7 on the top. So that was our dividing step. And then next, what will we multiply, Orlando?
4 times 7.
4 times 7. And what is that you said?
28.
Good. There's our multiplying step. And then next, what do we need to do?
You subtract 29 from 28.
29 minus 28. And what are we left with?
1.
1. That was our subtracting. All right, is there anything left to bring down, Orlando?
No.
Yeah, we have used all of our numbers. So instead of repeating, what are we going to do?
You are going to find your remainder, which is 1.
Right, our remainder is 1. So what's my final answer up here on the top?
2,237. Remainder 1.
Right, remainder 1. Okay, R1. All right, is anybody confused or have any questions on how we did this? No? Alrighty, I'll stop sharing my screen then. Make sure you have this all down.